Flight Check Season 1, Episode 17. And you know what kind of weekend it was for us? That's right. It was a 3-0 weekend. It's kind of reversed. You can't really see it on the camera. I'm bringing it a little closer together. 3-0 weekend for the newly promoted Academy Boys.
The promo boys?
We have not seen a 3-0 weekend in all of FlyQuest's recorded history, and that's only because they only played 2 games a week for the last few years. We're going to ignore that. First 3-0 weekend. Not only the first 3-0 weekend, folks. Not only the first 3-0 weekend. The first 7-0 week for any LCS organization across LCS and Academy. Wow. So I don't know about you guys, but I've already booked my tickets to China and got my hotel there because I fully expect us to see us sneaking in to a world spot once again. Curly, Knox, what hotel are you guys staying in China?
So I'm actually waiting for them to tell us where the players are staying, so I can just be on a lower floor and just casually run into Kumo in the elevator and ask him if he can play on my account for a day.
Riot Games, this is not actual elo boosting. Please ignore. Do not ban Kumo. We need that man.
I didn't say ranked.
Oh,
I didn't say ranked.
Okay.
I just want him to show me how to play Ultimate Spellbook.
Oh, that game's nuts. That mode's nutty.
Oh my gosh.
That mode is crazy. I was talking to a coworker about it today, actually. That is a lot of fun. Knox, I believe you had a tweet earlier this weekend. I'm going to call you out. You did not initially believe in the Academy team to the fullest extent that you could have.
I know. I'm so sorry. I deeply apologize. I'm a fake fan. I don't deserve to be a part of the fandom.
Sad, really.
Only 3-0s from now on. I promise. That's
only
it.
3-0s.
Only 3-0s.
I mean, you heard it. You heard it here first, folks.
Yeah, don't check the pickups though.
Yeah, don't check.
Only 3-0s? Damn, seems I have a graphic to update while we're doing this.
Yeah, hang on. Well,
Drex banning you from the Discord.
Man, yeah, we're all if we don't predict 3-0s from now on, we're getting banned from the FlyQuest Discord. So I'm not.
And we actually we're working on our Flight Check apology tweet for Nox Wars behavior.
Yeah, this is.
I promise I'm reformed. Call me Tyler One. I'm sorry.
Nox, after the first 3-0 prediction you did, I was really excited. And then, after the last couple weeks of predictions, it just obviously seems that things aren't clicking right now. I see you guys both as family. But we might have to be making some Flight Check roster swaps in the near future.
We'd like to welcome TMB to the podcast.
This was your Bud Light breakdown flight
cooldown.
Bud Light cooldown hashtag Flight Check fighting. Hey,
oh no.
LCO Swords, please never post anything like that on social media ever again. We are, this is the last time we get this lineup of 3 on this podcast. I don't think these 3 podcasters will ever be on this show together ever again. Just a little meta meme for you right there. All right, let's get into it. Let's start with the game that probably nobody expected us to win. Cloud9.
Wow.
Cloud9, folks.
Curly. I was blown away.
Let's start with Curly. Thoughts on this game? Because of all 3 games this weekend, I would say this was the one we were least expected to win.
For sure. Because we bring up the Academy roster, and they're going against the team that won the spring split. And mind you, our Academy roster, been riding the hype train for a while. They're fucking awesome. Pardon my language. But like, it's just something you don't expect on paper. And then, like, as I was watching it, because I'd had the night off from work, I didn't have any plans. I was just sitting in my room. Like, I had the pro view on my left screen and the main one here. And I admittedly was watching more of the pro view. And then I'd be like, whoa, there's no way that's about to happen. This is fake. And then I see it over there. I'm like, it's not fake. And it was just like it was insane. And mind you, there were some moments I feel like it was flippy floppy, but like I never lost faith the whole time, it was insane. And I'm just so proud of our team.
Yeah, you and me both, Curly. I'm just unbelievably proud of how these guys performed this weekend, especially in that Cloud9 game too, because that's probably easily the hardest matchup they had all weekend.
Yeah, I was really excited. I mean, there were a couple moments in that game. I think I tweeted from the Flight Check Twitter account the wonder what is going on MS Paint meme during that game. There were a few moments where I was like, oh, this could really flip either way. Not super sure here, but it was good. Sir Dargor saying in the chat, RNG Royal Never Give Up Prospect Triple is greater than G2 MSI champ and World's finalist perks. I think that's confirmed at this point.
Yeah.
Send it.
In the one sample we've had, yeah.
Clearly, the sample size, I think one game, that's large enough.
Perfect.
Absolutely.
We don't need to test this again. Honestly, C9, let us know when you're switching out your mid laner.
Yeah.
If you want to, you can like give him back to G2 and then take caps if you want to keep that trend going.
Oh yeah, just keep taking EU.
Then you might get like the avatar on your side, but
perfect. So
another thing though on this game though.
Yeah.
And I tweeted it afterwards. Is because a part of the script for the weekend forecast was talking about how the team knows what they want to do together. Mm-hmm. They know where they want to be on the map, and they go together for it. And so once it was done, I would tweeted the slide for that with their map control, and I'm going to read it off here. Before this weekend, they got 75% of first Barons in the summer split of Academy, 71% of Barons overall in their games, 64% of Dragons, and 65% of First Towers. That is a majority of objectives for them. And they and it really shined because every time they did something, I could see them setting up for something else in this game, and it was beautiful to watch it pay off.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, the cohesion and the synergy. I mean, I think I saw multiple people, and Triple actually tweeted this, not about this game in particular, but I think it extends to the entire weekend, was, kind of like a level of Chinese aggression from the entire team. And I just loved seeing it. Nox, I know you were very, very excited about kind of the cohesion and synergy we were seeing from this Academy team on such a big stage against a big team.
So stop me if I start going on a tangent, but I'm going to go off here for a second, okay? Because the play this weekend was awesome, okay? I was getting LPL vibes from the way they were fighting, from the way they were positioning around fights. I was getting G2 vibes from back in 2018, 2019 in the sense of you're going to go try and do this thing. Well, we're going to be on the other side of the map doing this thing, forcing you to split your moves and not understand what you need to do. There was moments of just brilliance and team synergy that I was like, I don't feel like we even really see in the LCS that often, even from our top teams, right? I don't see it that often from Cloud9 or 100 Thieves or Team Liquid when they're dominating. A lot of the times it's they just have these perfect macro movements and they just control the game and that's it. If they have any contest, they don't usually do too well. So it's nice to see that when the team gets pushed, because they were pushed multiple times this weekend, right? They don't give up. There was multiple times in the Drake fights where it was oh man, we lost to Drake, but then we go back in, Triple re-engages on the LeBlanc. He's I'm going back in, we're getting something out of this, whether they let us have it or not. We're going for this fight. And we pull off the fight because the team's oh my God, we're actually getting pushed right now. They didn't just back off and let us have the objective. And from there, we win the fight, and it's like we're taking Baron, and we're going from there because at the end of the day, teams aren't putting the respect on this academy team to go, hey, let's just fight this because they're probably not expecting it, and boom, we're winning all 3 matches.
Yeah, it was. You do have to wonder whether, to some extent, the other teams just did not have any idea of what to expect from the academy team. Obviously they would have been able to scout a little bit just based off of the academy games that this roster had played. But it seems like the real trick to winning an LCS is everyone being on the same page. I think that's really what it was.
Team synergy is better than any individual performance right now. Straight up.
Curly, I see a mind blow. Like, it's shocking.
Like, what? Playing together wins games?
Communication and synergy will help you win. Who knew?
No.
I mean, it's really shocking. So that was the big win. Everyone was very excited about that one. And then the really, really important match of the week that became even more important after they had taken down TSM Friday as well on a big day of upsets was the match against Counter Logic Gaming, who not only play counterlogically but manage their social media presence in a counterlogic manner.
They're the scapegoat of this week in the LCS.
Yeah.
And this game, for me, it was interesting because I felt like there were a few moments where it could have gotten out of our hands, but we managed to stay controlled, and we got to a place where I felt very comfortable. And I believe it was like after we got Baron the first time. I'm trying to remember. I'm gonna get this mixed up. If we got Baron like right after the 20-minute mark for the CLG game, or was it the Immortals game? I'm pretty sure it was the CLG.
It was a CLG game because it was literally the fight I just said about the LeBlanc re-engage. Basically, we went in and it was like, all right, we're going.
Yeah, and that kind of aggression for me to go for Baron so fast after a winning team fight around the 20-21 minute mark is just evidence of this team's willingness to take risks that will pay off. And in my experience in watching LCS, teams that are down to clown a little bit, if you'll pardon the phrase, teams that are down to clown and take some coin flips and make some moves will win more often than not. And that's what I was seeing from this team.
Wholeheartedly agree. I once again have to reemphasize, like, this team reminds me of G2 a little bit back in 2018, 2019, because a lot of times when G2 was getting punished, they would just immediately go to the other side of the map, or they'd take a fight that you just weren't expecting. And so I'm getting G2 vibes right now with this Academy roster, or I keep saying Academy roster. They're not Academy. The Promo Boys. I keep getting G2 vibes with the Promo Boys right now because, frankly, they don't let you take anything without losing something yourself.
Uh-huh. And actually, something I love about that is this, like, we talk about all this aggression, and I love the aggression, but I also like that sometimes they do pull back. Like, they recognize when they just need to, like, scare off and then buzz off. You know, just, like, lay down a couple of abilities and then get away. Which, granted, is not often. I felt like most of this weekend they were just pushing the other guy to go. Like, especially in C9, like, mirroring it back to that, if I remember correctly, there were so many, like, setups for Baron that then C9 showed up, so they turned around and fought, and then neither of them could get Baron. So they went about, they farmed up, they set up for Baron again, fought, like, this cycle. It's like, all right, if we don't get Baron, we're going to get 3 of your players. You know?
Yep.
And then it was excellent.
Yeah.
I'm just going to keep saying that all night.
I feel like we keep pausing because we're just like, oh, we're reliving the memories of how good it was.
Well,
I'm so happy right now.
It's funny to me because sometimes it's easier to talk about a game when there's clear and obvious mistakes that were made. And I'm sure if I were to go back and watch the games, I could find some mistakes to talk about. But I'm just so overwhelmed by the fact that, like, oh, we did not lose this
Don't
week.
get me wrong. There are plenty of mistakes still, but I'm not really touching on them because I'm just enjoying 3-0. I just want to enjoy it.
If we want to dip our toes in mistakes, I got a few that I can think of, but I know the academy team, like the promo team, already knows about it because I feel like they're very self-reflective players.
Yeah, let's figure out once and for all what we're calling this iteration of the roster. The
miracle roster.
The pro mode team. Are we just going to call them the LCS roster for now? I mean, how are we going to go about this?
I'm going to call them the promo team for now because, and we'll get into this later because I'm not sure what FlyQuest plans on doing with the roster next week. Because I have a feeling they still want to use the guys that are playing in Academy right now, right? So for the time being, the guys that played this past weekend, I'm just going to call the promo boys the promo team because they got promoted and they earned it. And I think it just has a nice, very solid, positive connotation behind it.
Yep.
I agree, but I also like Fudar's suggestion of FlyQuest 2 Electric Boogaloo.
You know what? I can do that too. I'm fine with
that. I'm a big fan of that one as well. I'm down for any kind of meme power or meme energy we can get for the rest of this summer.
Absolutely.
So, big win against Counterlogic Gaming. Loved seeing that, and that put us one over them in the standings, sole position of 8th place at the time. And we would not stop there. Went up against Immortals the next day. I'm going to pull up this draft real fast, if I can. All right, so this was we banned the Ziggs on this one, which was really funny to me. And then this one, triple pulling out the Azir into the Sylas, which was super interesting. But the big thing on this, Diamond bringing out the Crank. Blitzcrank for Diamond. This was a super exciting pick for me. We don't often get to see the Blitzcrank in pro play. So, Curly, I don't know if you have any thoughts on this. So it was the Varus Blitzcrank into Aphelios Thresh. I mean, what were your thoughts on that matchup?
So, admittedly, I only got around to actually watching this today because Sundays usually busy all day.
That's fair.
But I mean, my thoughts. I think Blitzcrank is a good pocket pick for one for the LCS. It worked out, obviously. Like, I want to say we got a double kill. We got a kill on them early in the bot lane. Like, the first blood was in the bot lane, so clearly it worked out. The Blitzcrank hook is better than the Thresh hook because as much as he can like pull you for a second, just suddenly being shifted to a whole different location, in my opinion, a lot more powerful. But personally, I know you mentioned the Blitzcrank. I want to talk about Lee Sin.
Yeah.
Because this week, we were the only team in the LCS Summer Split to put Lee Sin in the right place. Twice. We did it twice. We were like, wait a second, Lee Sin's a jungler. Let's give him to our jungle. And it paid off both times. Like,
crazy how it works like that sometimes.
It's like straight up. Like, when we saw it with Jose Diodo and the Academy scene, and then we saw NXI pull it out yesterday, they both looked excellent on the champ because Lee Sin is a jungler and that's where he thrives and that's what he should be. And so LCS orgs, if you are watching this, don't pick Lee Sin if you're not putting him in the jungle, please, because when you do, you get wins like this.
Yep, it's true.
So I wanted to really the game I was happiest with this weekend, funnily enough, was this Immortals game, and let me explain why. So I said going into this weekend, the biggest thing that we need to take care of when playing Immortals is their bot lane, because I think they are the weak point. In which case, that was why the Blitzcrank came in. And obviously it showed in the very first, like, what was it, level 1, level 2? We got the kill on it, and we started taking priority in the bot lane, and it was great. However, what I want to give props for the team is NXI and Kumo realized Revenge was not playing well this match and proceeded to spend most of his time top lane, which kind of ended up biting Tomo in the butt a little bit later on. But basically, the team made a call and was like, hey, look, we got our advantage early. We don't really need to give resources to the bot lane at this point. Let's send NXI top lane and not let Revenge play the game, period. And honestly, it worked out because Revenge wasn't playing well. NXI was on top of his game, and Kumo was also on top of his game, right? And so I liked seeing the switch of strategy going from, yeah, let's punish the bot lane with this Blitzcrank pick to, we don't really need to. Let's just go top, make sure the Akali doesn't pop off. We've got Kumo on Viego. That'll do great, and we'll just go from there. So the adaptability from the team in that game was amazing, and I just really, really want to give props for that one.
Yeah, I thought this draft was really good. Pulling it up, it's sometimes certain parts of LOLpedia don't update as fast as you would want them to. But just looking at it again, the Ziggs ban I really liked because we know that Immortals does like to pull out spicy picks, including the Ziggs. The Viego top was, I think, a good pick. Viego's just super good. And then I really liked seeing the Azir from Triple. We saw a lot of him. We saw him playing that a lot in Academy in the spring. So we know he's got a good Azir. Into the Sylas from Insanity. So I love seeing Triple on the Azir. I love seeing him on, the Orianna, things like that. We know he does those picks really, really well. And then he also apparently has a very nasty LeBlanc. So really good to see that. Now, the real question, though, for Triple, was he robbed a little bit for Player of the Week? I mean,
yes,
the man did pop off,
Yes. I will say it too. I 100% agree. Like I think he was, because you got to think of the circumstances. That alone should put him in contention. Because this guy comes up from Academy, is put relatively pretty much on the spot against C9, granted in CLG and Immortals, but comes up and just not necessarily solo carries, but is a consistent fire in every single match that the enemy team can't seem to control.
Yeah.
And so he shows up and he just he stomps. And so you can't not give the guy Player of the Week.
That's fair.
It's so rude.
I think Nox, did you have an opinion on that?
Well, I was going to say, I'll be the Debbie Downer and say, I don't think he deserves. I will say I don't agree with Licorice getting into it, if we want to get into that briefly. I think it should have been Danny getting it, but I don't think Triple was quite deserving of it due to the game 3 against Immortals. That bot lane teleport just was not that great. Although Drek in chat saying Kumo can also make a case going 7-0, which I wholeheartedly agree with. I think Kumo should have been in consideration.
It's let's be real, Triple and Kumo, if you could share the pedestal, that's what I'd really put up there.
Yeah. I think for me, the team MVP of the week is Kumo, just in terms of the org in general. And this will help us, I think, transition over to kind of the Academy talk with the original LCS roster now playing in Academy. But Kumo played in all 7 stage matches for LCS and Academy, and he won every single one. Is it just a Kumo diff? Is that really what's going on here?
I would say yes, especially if anyone here has read the article from Diamond. Let me see who it's from, by the way, so that way I can, from Invent Global.
Yeah.
If you guys read that article, you would see that he was put a huge emphasis on the fact that Diamond and Kumo are the big shot callers of the team. And Diamond was really heavily emphasizing the fact that, like, hey, me and Kumo are what make this work. And, like, without Kumo, I mean, he doesn't really reference it, but I mean, you can kind of see how it worked with Licorice, who didn't talk as much. And he even says in the article, Licorice was more quiet. Having the top laner who is more vocal and more willing to take the lead makes it his life a lot easier. And all that combined just tells me, like, Kumo needed to be the MVP of this week and going 7-0, being, like, I believe the first player to ever do that in North America. So, yeah, I think Kumo needs the props.
Yeah, Curly, I mean, you're the top laner of the group. What are your thoughts? Kumo, organizational MVP for the week?
Yeah. The man played more than, I don't know if I've ever heard of another professional league player playing this much, and he just got through it all with flying colors. Like, I never once saw any fatigue in his gameplay or in him. He just powered through it, chatted every single game. Like, I never saw any weakness from the man. And so, like, he really stepped up when the org needed him more than anyone else, because, like, they didn't have a backup. So it was the only option if they wanted to play every game.
Yeah. To be fair, if you're in LCK or LPL, there's always a chance of you playing 6 stage games in 1 week because of those best of 3s that they've got going on over there.
But not 7.
So the
True.
So the Academy team, the LCS team, now Academy team. Boy, that's real confusing. An expected, or a should have been expected, 4-0. They really, to me, looked like an LCS roster playing Academy teams. Kind of stomped C9. The 100 Thieves matches were a little closer, I felt. But ultimately, they locked down. Jose looked fantastic. Palafox looked fantastic. And even Johnson, who admittedly I had been giving a little bit of casting a little doubt on, he looked much improved as well. I mean, Nox, I know you watched some of those games. What were your thoughts on those matchups?
I think Jose Dioto had a grudge to show. He came out like a monster, dude. He had absolutely great play all weekend long. It goes to show that Jose Dioto is truly, like, worthy of the import slot. I think he just hasn't been able to have the team around him properly while playing in the LCS. But coming into this weekend, he got on the Academy stage and it was just like, no, this is not where I need to be. Let me show you why. And he just had a field day. So,
that lead-in game from him was absolutely incredible.
It was just nutty. It was nutty. There's nothing else to say about it. It was just nutty. And so, with that said, I think these games, for the most part, go to show that in certain aspects, the LCS teams do absolutely belong in the LCS, and the Academy teams don't belong in the Academy in the LCS. But then you also have our own Academy team disproving that exact same concept. So it gets kind of funny. But at least for Cloud9, they rolled over them. 100 Thieves. You did see some issues about maybe some communication not quite being there, but like the individual play was. So it works out. I think the other thing you have to consider is that after being in Academy and having a 4-0 weekend and having a very solid play in general, I'm sure the confidence of these guys is probably boosted a lot, right? Like, okay, we smacked some kiddies around. We're ready to get back on the main stage. Like, just call us up, coach.
Well, and so actually that makes me think of the Jose Dioto interview where he actually was like, yeah, we should win these. When he was asked about, like, how does it feel to, like, go from this loss streak to winning, he's like, well, it's just is what it is. Like, if we came in here and didn't win it, he didn't say that part, but it's like if they came in there and they didn't win it, whew, that would be some eyebrows raised. If you ask me. But the fact that they did stomp is, like, good. It is expected. That does show that the individual players have the quality, as you said. And I think that's both the blessing and the curse of the original roster in that they all, as individuals, are actually solid players. I get like they clearly are LCS caliber. It's just their relationship as team, like in game, is not. So, like, it's essentially if you get 5 random plat players and put them against 5 diamond players, you'd expect them to win.
Mm-hmm.
Or wait, other way around. Sorry. Diamond players against plat players. Like, you just do that tier. You'd expect them to win. It's just solo queue. But if you put 5 platinum players who have been playing together all the time against a plat team of solo queues, or I mean the diamond team, you get what I'm saying.
Yeah, we got it.
We got it.
God,
a team
the
that
analogy
has,
broke my brain.
a team that has communication and synergy problems is going to struggle when up against teams that do not have communication and synergy issues. SMG Foodar in the chat asking, are they the Power Rangers creating the Megazord or Voltron creating Voltron?
They're Power Rangers, but they're all the White Rangers, so they have their own Zord that they sometimes use together.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, we'll go with the Power Rangers.
I'll go with that one, sure.
We'll go with the Power Rangers analogy. Also, you can say Power Rangers because we're all about solar power this summer. Right? So we're the solar Power Rangers. We'll go with that. So let's talk real quickly about the difference levels between the Academy and the LCS. So the big thing here is that, I mean, obviously, both teams went undefeated. Both teams had Kumo. But the big difference, I think, that we saw was obviously no Licorice on the teams. Now, I did see some folks dropping the idea that Licorice was the problem in various places. I hardcore disagree, and Nox, I see you shaking your head. Why don't you take the first run against the statement Licorice was the problem? Because I disagree with that statement, and I believe you do as well. So take it off.
I mean, evidence A, look at the Golden Guardians games. Evidence B, look at the fact that he had literally Player of the Week. Evidence C, you can't also be blaming all on one person for what is clearly a team issue, right? Like, for instance, once again, I'm going to reference the Diamond article, right? His shot calling relies on someone else to help him shot call. He's not a solo shot caller. He's not high back in 2013, 2014, where he does all the work himself. He needs someone else to help him out with that. And so that's technically a team issue. And it shouldn't absolutely fall onto Licorice to be like, hey, we need you to be a shot caller. As much of a veteran as he was, I guess the expectation was just a misunderstood concept, I guess, when bringing the team together. So you can't put that on Licorice. I mean, you expect him to play well. You don't expect him to be a shot caller if he can't shot call, right? So at the end of the day, like, it's not Licorice's fault that the FlyQuest team was not performing. I mean, there are instances where it was his fault, but I mean, not like as a whole, right? So just, I don't know. The idea of it's Licorice's fault that the FlyQuest team was not performing is just so unbased that it's ridiculous. Yeah, he has responsibilities for the failings of the team, but it's not his whole fault. It's the team's.
Sure. Curly, are you gonna assent or dissent with this take?
I'm going to assent some parts and dissent other parts. And I'm going to start with my dissent because do not do my boy Diamond dirty like that. He can solo call.
Okay.
He can solo call. He just didn't because from what I interpreted from the article, everyone was just quiet at first. But by being on Academy, he's like, you know what? I'll shot call. I'll do it. So even if Kuma wasn't there, I think Diamond could confidently shot call. It was just the environment of the spring split that it didn't give him the power to, because he was like, okay, maybe we should just have Licorice do it. That's what the team wants. And so now that like burden is off of Licorice and it's anyone, like Diamond can solo shot call. But
okay, fair take.
Licorice is like not the problem per se. It was the way we tried to fit him into our organization. That was the problem. So it's when you finish a solo queue game and you felt like you didn't play with your team and you type team diff, it's not necessarily that you all think you were bad players. You just couldn't play it together. And for Licorice, he couldn't figure, like, he just really couldn't figure out how to play with this team. Whereas Golden Guardians, clearly, whatever spot they had from over there is perfect for him, like, at this stage. And so that's just kind of what it was. So it wasn't a Licorice wasn't a problem. It wasn't the team was a problem. It was just the way we tried to connect into the team didn't work out. And so that's what I think ultimately the problem was. And I think another thing is kind of like you said, we put too much of this burden on him, this expectation. He's got to be the shot caller. It's clearly, as we've seen from this weekend, experience does not mean wisdom. Because C9 losing to Fly Academy. We got, like, in the grand scheme of things, ultimately our roster is newer to the scene, and they've got people who've been around for a while. And CLG is all veterans. And so just because they're veterans doesn't mean they're going to make the best shot calls. It's the person who's willing to make those shot calls who can read the game better. So yeah. So that's my opinion on what the problem was. We just didn't have the right role for Licorice. And GG does.
Fair enough. You got an opinion on this one, Sandy?
My opinion was going to be that when it comes to typing team diff in your solo queue game, usually my tactic is to just take whatever position I was playing and type that diff. So, jungle diff or mid diff, bot diff. Even if I went O10, the purpose is to just tilt the ever-living hell out of your opponent and, just make them rage for a little bit. So that's my take on it. In terms of Licorice, I'm going to agree with Curly in that we did not... I think it was a good experiment to try, having Licorice lead the team. I think the thought was good. I just wish we would have realized it wasn't working sooner, and attempted something different. Now, Licorice is he's clearly, still a talented player. I mean, he was looking like old C9 Licorice this past weekend with Golden Guardians. So I don't think it at any point was his mechanics are slacking, he's worse of a player now, whatever. I do think it's probably harder to play well or play up to the level that you can while having to coordinate and lead your team. So perhaps on Golden Guardians, he doesn't have to do that so much, and he can focus on just stomping his lane and winning his matchups. So next up on our little list of things to discuss, is it possible that the main reason we went 3-0 is that we just weren't respected? This is certainly a possibility. Now, what I would say is that CLG and Immortals probably gave us a bit more respect. CLG, because, it was a pivotal
must-win.
Yeah, must-win, pivotal game for playoff position. For Immortals, their coach, Giotto, said something on Twitter, I believe I'm going to very, very loosely paraphrase this, that it was an interesting swap, and he's hoping that the team can look more like the preseason 4th place power rankings that we were supposed to get of FlyQuest. So I was reading that as he was taking it seriously. So maybe that leads us to, did Cloud9 disrespect us a little bit? Nox, I mean, what were your thoughts on this?
So I probably agree with you, at least on the CLG and the Immortals part. I think it's a little disingenuous from some of the people that I've seen saying like, they probably just disrespected the roster, they didn't do the scouting, et cetera, et cetera. I think Immortals desperately need every win they can get because they're trying to vie for that sixth spot, right? Which makes sure you're not in that lower bracket of playoffs and you have a possible double elimination, which is very, very valuable.
Well,
And then
any moment now, they might be vying for 7th with us. So
exactly that too. And so
Might be.
might be.
Curly's like, don't get me started. I'll get it.
I did the math yesterday. We're getting 7th. Anyway,
Okay.
We'll get into that here in a second because I know you've got a whole rant on that one, Curly. But to reiterate though, Immortals had no reason to like take us easy, right? There was no reason to coast. They need the win, and CLG obviously very much so need the win. So I think it's safe to say that we can disregard those teams disrespecting us and saying, "Oh, it's a free win." That's just not true. Cloud9, on the other hand, is possibly a different story. I've said this before on the podcast. We have a very, very bad record against Cloud9 as an organization. I believe after this win, we're like 7-22 against them. So I wouldn't be surprised if the org of Cloud9 was kind of like, okay, it's the academy team. We've historically had not really that many issues with them. And I'm not saying they took it easy, but I mean, the TF pick was what really kind of made me go, huh? Are you guys really doing this now? In which case, Perks obviously wasn't looking all that solid that game. It really just came down to Fudge, who was just hard carrying, like desperately trying to carry them to the finish line. And so I would say, I wouldn't say it's disrespect, but I don't think Cloud9 gave their 100%. I think we go back before that game starts and Cloud9's like, all right, mental on, we're giving 100%. It may be a bit of a different game, but I don't think Cloud9 came in 100% for that match.
Yeah, I really didn't like the Twisted Fate pick for Perks. I mean,
not sure where it came from.
It was, yeah, and Fudge was absolutely trying to 1v9. It was a bit more of like a 1v4 because we obviously won that game, so it wasn't quite the 1v9. But
absolutely.
But yeah, Curly, I mean, any thoughts on
so the one
Cloud9 and maybe underestimating us?
The one thing I do want to point out is something I had read somewhere, and I don't remember where it is that a possibility of why Friday was the day of upsets was that the teams that had top 5 secured were using this time to experiment with meta so they could get ahead of it before playoffs. And I think that's not necessarily, that's definitely what happened, but there's a non-zero chance that might be why we had like the TF pick. And I want to say it was the first time we had seen Akali top in the LCS.
It's not the first, but it's not common either.
Yeah, it was very uncommon, and so
used
like
to seeing
it was
Akali mid from most teams.
Mm-hmm. So it was like clearly, and actually, what else we got from that match lineup? Because where is it? Yeah, so it was Akali. They put Nocturne in the jungle. Yeah, so nothing else too crazy aside from the TF and Akali in the top. But I do agree. Like, I don't think that's exactly the case. But it is something you might want to take into consideration. But I still think, even if it is the case, it just goes to show them that they shouldn't underestimate. And I don't think that's necessarily the only reason. It just made it easier. I do think these players have the caliber to win if they are scouted properly.
Yeah, fully agree. And then in terms of how much FlyQuest will win, Curly, I mean, let's talk how far we can go with this iteration of the roster. I mean, so I mean, let's recap the standings. Right now we are 12-24.
We are in 8th. Yeah,
we're in sole possession of 8th place, 2 games ahead of CLG and Golden Guardians. We are 3 games behind Immortals and 6 games behind 6th place Dignitas. 9 games remain in the season. It is not impossible for us to get to 6th.
No.
But how likely do you think it is?
So let me go all Charlie Day here.
Where are the letters? Where are the letters going?
Because I did a very, like, as I was getting ready to type in hashtag League of Legends in Flycord last night, I really dialed it back. But now that we're talking, I'm gonna get a little deeper with the math that I've put in for what it's going to take. Where I'm going to preface this now, if you don't want to listen to all the math. We will make 7th. It is statistically probable. Like, we can absolutely do it. So, the top 5 teams don't matter in terms of that math. The only math we really have to concern ourselves with are Immortals, FlyQuest, and Dignitas. It's the only 3 teams we need to pay attention to. Personally, I think that Immortals is going to lose to all the top 5 teams right there. And so they might be able to pull off an upset on EG and a sloppy 100T if they get back to the power that they had at the beginning of the summer split, but the way they're playing right now, there's nothing I don't think they can do that. So that's 5 losses on their side already. I think they're going to lose maybe to a CLG no, not CLG, sorry. I think they'll lose to Golden Guardians in this round robin. So that is a 6th loss. And then, lastly, I don't really see them beating us. So the only 2 wins they'll have for the rest of the split will be Dignitas and CLG, in my book.
Okay.
And and I'm just saying this based on the performance I've seen from them and how some of the teams are looking right now. And so that their final record will be 17-28. Now, Dignitas, they currently are 6 games ahead of us. They, in my opinion, will also lose to the top 5 teams. However, I do think that they will win. Actually, wait, who does it? I have them going 3-6. I can't remember exactly why, but they've been averaging 1 and 2 all split. Like, if they had a 3-0, which I don't think they have, they did have an 0-3 later. Basically, the average is 1 and 2. So we can just safely assume that they're going to go 3-6 in this final round robin. So unfortunately, based on the FlyQuest math that I'm doing, where I can say we can confidently beat Dig, Immortals, CLG, and Golden Guardians, plus take off 2 of the top 5, that'll put us in 6-3. That's not enough. Not enough to beat Dig, but I believe it would tie us with Dig. No, it wouldn't. I'm sorry. Because our final record would be 18-27, and theirs would be 21-24. So this is why I can say we can confidently get 7th.
Right.
Now, if we want to get 6, the 2 things we'll have to rely on is us beating these expectations and Dignitas flopping. The Dignitas we will have to lose maximum of 2 games if we want to beat Dignitas, because we need to win 7 more games than they do. So we need to be 7-2, and they need to be 6-3, or no, basically they need to be mirrored.
Right.
It's crazy. There's a lot. Yeah. We lost me on the math here.
They have to,
I did a lot simpler.
We'll sum it up with this. We have to stomp, and they have to be trash, and we can pass them.
Yeah, if we go 9-0, then we are definitely 6.
Well,
which of course we're gonna go 9-0. I definitely
if we go 9-0, we're making a deep playoffs run. Simple as that.
Yeah, if we go 9-0, then I might actually have to go buy some tickets to Worlds.
Well, first we gotta check the flight restrictions, but yeah,
for sure.
So that's my Curly's math for a second. I'm sorry, I got a little off track there.
That's our Curly's math segment. But that brings us into the next thing I want to talk about. So if we are going to go 9-0, what roster are we going to do it with? are we going to maintain the promo boys all the way through the rest of the season? Or, as Nick has alluded to in interviews and elsewhere, could there be different iterations of the roster brought together? Could we see Jose brought back up to the LCS? Could we see Palafox coming back through? There's a lot of possibilities, obviously. We have, 9 players, basically. I don't think there's almost no way, barring some kind of, medical emergency, that Philip would play in LCS, right?
No.
We can basically assume Kumo starting in top lane, and that's about it. And again, unless we get a surprise Tuesday night announcement about the roster, we might not exactly know who is playing in LCS until the last minute.
Friday.
Yeah, until Friday. I think for now, it's safe to assume, based off of the performance from the weekend, it'll be the promo boys Friday, Saturday, Sunday against TSM, EG, and 100 Thieves. Yeah, I would agree with Fudar in the chat. Ride the hot hand.
Yeah,
I think that's what
agreed.
we go with. Yeah, Nox. I mean, is there any world in which you see some kind of iteration where we mix and match the teams?
I could see, because who do we play Sunday? 100 Thieves, right?
100 Thieves is Sunday, yes.
So I could see a world where we get to through Friday and Saturday, and it's like, okay, say we win those 2 games. It's like, okay, we're looking good. Let's see what happens when we put Palafox and Jose back in, and we keep Kumo and we keep Tomo and we keep Diamond. Because I don't see a world where obviously Kumo's in which case there's a whole article of Diamond saying yeah, the way we shot call right now is between me and Kumo, right? So Diamond and Kumo are the shot callers. I don't see a world where Diamond gets subbed out for Dreams because currently Diamond likes playing with Tomo. Diamond is shot calling with Kumo. So I think you have to have those core 3. So I could see a world, though, where if we want to try and put Palafox back in and Jose Diota back in, because those are the more experienced, quote-unquote, players, or the better individual players, that if the synergy is there, like if they're scrimming this week and they're trying out different roster variations, maybe on Sunday we try it. But for the most part, I'm going to stick with the idea of we just stick with the whole academy, the promo boys. I'm the one making this title for them. I'm not even using it. The promo boys, the promo team, I think we just need to stick with the promo team the whole weekend long. But I could see a world where we put in Palafox and Jose Dioto on Sunday.
Early, any reasoning for you where we would experiment with the roster iterations?
Well, before I go into detail, I'm going to be honest, promo boys are bust. But
I mean, I'm inclined to agree.
What I will say is, rather than Sunday against 100 Thieves, I foresee us potentially pulling... This is going to sound a little flamey, but it's just how it is. I only see Jose Dioto or Palafox coming back for any games the rest of the season, and I only think it's going to be the quote-unquote low-stakes games of Dignitas and CLG. And maybe even Golden Guardians, because the relationship between Jose Dioto and Licorice was really good, in my opinion. So they would, he might have an edge up on how Licorice can play, and so rather than NXI. So that might be the only other thing. Those are the only 3 games I think we might potentially sub them in. Otherwise, like I said, it's Academy or Bust. And to quote Ricebox quoting Diamond, it's a lot easier to play with less experienced players like NXI and Tomo because they don't have a developed play style. And Diamond and Kumo can have that authority. They will follow and respect Kumo and Diamond because they're all right, these guys know what they're doing. I can learn from them. And then I think it also actually, the one reason I really want to keep NXI in is from his interview where he's like, I don't want to be known for one thing. I just want to learn everything.
Yeah,
I just want to do it all.
I like the mindset a lot.
I really want to thank you for reminding me of that, because I did want to talk about that interview that NXI did on broadcast, which was so cool. So humble, he could have easily gotten on stage or gotten onto that interview and been, braggadocious and, just kind of like conceited and be like, yeah, we're so good, da 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 da. But he was, he was humble. He was very cool about it all. And, he was just like, yeah, I just want my accomplishments to be, what I'm remembered for, And that is a great mindset from somebody who's so new to the pro scene. And I'm really excited to see where that mindset will take him. And hopefully it's with FlyQuest for a very, very long time.
Wholeheartedly agreed.
Yes.
Agreed. All right. Well, let's move forward to next weekend. So we talked a little bit about what the next week's roster could look like. We're all hoping that we stick with the hot hand and that we stay with the pro mode boys, Kumo, NXI, Triple, Tomo, Diamond. I think that'll be great. So let's move on to next weekend. We play 3 very, very good teams. We play TSM on Friday, Evil Geniuses on Saturday, and 100 Thieves on Sunday. Why don't we get our predictions up, and the flaming can begin at that point.
So just before I bring this up, Nox War twice now. It has said we're going all the way, agreeing with the 9-0. Let's do this. Which is exactly why he's the only one that doesn't have a 3-0 up for this weekend.
Oh, right. Now I need to give a little bit of a caveat. Up until approximately an hour and a half ago,
about 10 minutes before, or like 20 minutes.
Yeah, 20 minutes before broadcast, I actually had the exact same picks. So I had us only beating TSM and losing to both EG and 100 Thieves. But look, I just couldn't. I couldn't let the boys down. I couldn't not have faith. Ultimately, I think for me this week was a situation of I could see us beating all 3 of these teams, and I could see us losing to all 3 of these teams. I don't have enough data or information right now to feel good one way about it or another. I do feel best about us beating TSM because we seem to have their number so far this season for some reason or another. So based off of that results-based analysis,
I just noticed there is a number that didn't get changed correctly, and I'm annoyed.
Oh, what's the number?
The 38 on Nox Wars, because
I was gonna say I didn't realize I was doing that well.
Wow,
you are doing that well, but that is not exactly mathematically correct.
Yeah, that's not. It doesn't line up.
It should be at 46. I guess it just didn't say. But anyway,
oh well.
Before I take the screen away, read it off for the listeners.
Yes. So Curly has a 3-0 weekend. Sandy Toes has a 3-0 weekend. And Nox War has a 1-2 weekend, oh ye of little faith. Only beating TSM and losing to both Evil Geniuses and 100 Thieves.
So do you want the reasoning?
I'm going to pit you and Curly against each other, actually, because I said I'm kind of 50-50 on the whole thing. I'm just choosing to have some blind optimism. So let's just hit the TSM one real fast because we all agreed on that one. Curly, why do you see that one being a dub?
We beat C9.
If
we beat C9, we can beat TSM again, and have a 4-1 record all season.
Wow, that knocked Knox all the way
Uh,
on his back. That was powerful.
All the evidence I needed.
Show. All right.
It's very compelling evidence. I cannot deny it.
I mean, I agree. Now that wasn't. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Evil geniuses. Yeah. I mean, we're just gonna move on. I don't really think you can actually debate that at all. Evil geniuses. This team is good. I really want people to understand that this is not the same team that we saw in spring. I believe they are on a 8-game winning streak.
8. It is 8.
They are on fire, folks. They are tied for the second best record in summer. They are probably a top 3 team, legitimately contending for a world spot, in my opinion. They look really, really good. Things seem to have clicked for them finally. So now they do play Golden Guardians on Friday. You would expect that on paper to be a win. So at some point, right, that win streak has to come to an end. Why not against the promo boys? I mean, why not? I mean, Knox, why do you have EG, this super team right now, taking down the Academy boys?
Right now, the EG team looks so like our strength is our synergy, right? We know how we want to play, we know what we want to do, but we don't necessarily have the individual outplays all the time, right? Not that we don't have them at all, but just consistently we don't always have them. And so this EG team, for me, they have the synergy. And then you have Impact in the top lane, who's just been this rock. I think it's going to be a hell of a time for Kumo to try and find any cracks in that giant wall of his, right? Then you've got Scarin, who in the past 8 games has really cleaned up his play, who looks a lot more solid and has really kind of reaffirmed his position on the team, has kind of really crawled his way back into being in the conversation of deserving his spot. Jizuke, who still has his int moments, don't get me wrong, has had kind of less over time, I've noticed, and has generally been more consistent, even though he still has kind of those moments. So if we're going to win it, I think we need to punish Jizuke and kind of go through there, and we'll talk about that in the forecast, but that's kind of the way we win it. And then Danny and Ignar have been absolutely nuts. Like I said earlier in the podcast, I thought Danny deserved an MVP over Licorice. I think he's been playing out of his mind. He looks good. That's going to be a hard bot lane for Tomo and Diamond to play into. Not that it's not doable, but it's just the cards are stacked against us. And if I were to have to give a ratio, I'd probably give it in EG's favor about 60-40 right now.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that's fair. Curly, any rebuttal there?
I am going to bring this to our side lanes in the fact that I personally think that Kumo is better than Impact.
You open the oven, Curly? You open the oven, Curly?
No, so now that FlyQuest went 3-0, the hot takes are back.
Oh my god.
The hot takes are like toasty.
I don't know this man. I don't know who this is.
If I'm being honest, like I think Kumo is a better top laner than Impact. I just do. And then in the side lane, like Danny, real good ADC, and Ignar is a support player.
Is a support player? That's one way of putting it.
I think Diamond and Tomo are just better bot lane, like hands down. So I think our side lanes just can win better and like give more just give more options for NXI. Like NXI can just show up and he'll get kills. He doesn't like, they can be like, yo, you want to come gank? And he'll be like, yeah, I guess, in my opinion. Or they can just bully Jizuke. Like they can free up the pressure on the side lanes so they can just bully Jizuke and really make it a tail side of the coin flip.
Udar says, I feel like Curly dug a hole and is doubling down and digging deeper out of spite. I mean, I am not gonna touch the Kumo.
You don't have to ride my hot takes,
Kumo
but that's just
than,
my take.
Kumo better than Impact take right now. I'm gonna lay off that one. I don't think. What I don't think is that Evil Geniuses are the coin flip team that everyone has thought they were. I don't think they are that anymore. They have looked very controlled. Jizuke has not looked like a coin flip player for several weeks now. I think they are legitimately they've got 2 LCS caliber junglers in Sven Skaren and Contracts. I think they're a legitimately scary team. Ricebox in chat says, I hope EG will sub in Contracts, so we'll see who's the better Academy jungler.
If they do that, we win, hands down.
I don't think I think you would Evil Genius.
All respect to Contracts.
No, I think they would actually probably play Contracts in the match against us. That would not surprise me whatsoever to see that happen.
Well, then that just reaffirms my belief.
Well, and then we'll just see. Right now, I mean, legitimately, I'm taking us over Evil Geniuses only because, every win streak has to come to an end at some point, and I think
we're going to be the ones to do it, damn it.
And we'll be the ones to do it. All right, let's wrap up predictions discussing the 100 Thieves game. We've got some friendly 100 Thieves fans in the chat, I know. So let's tread cautiously here. So Nox, why are we going to absolutely stomp 100 Thieves into the ground?
Well, my 3-0 prediction would be because
tread cautiously. Why are we going to demolish them?
If we're going off of the 3-0 prediction that I'm saying, it's because Ssumday has had some actually not so good moments. If we're going to win this match, it's because Ssumday's not playing to his peak right now, right? In addition to that, I think Abe has not been carrying as hard as he was earlier on in the split. Not that he's not carrying, but like his carry agency has been not as strong. So both the mid and top lane for us, I think, is going to really be our way through into winning this match. If we're going off of my actual predictions, I don't think we're going to be able to do it. I think our bot lane is not going to be able to match up to FBI and Huhi, who are, in my opinion, still the best bot lane, even over Danny and Ignar currently in the LCS.
Yep.
I don't think we're going to be able to win that bot lane. I think hopefully what will happen is we'll hold our ground and can go even or slightly lose it. I think triple into Abbedagge is going to be a very interesting matchup because both can play whatever, right? I don't know what to predict in the mid lane because triple can play control mages or he can play stuff like Lucian. And then you have Abbedagge who can play stuff like the Karma into control mages into like whatever assassins he wants to play. That's a hard matchup, in which case I think Abbedagge has the experience and the individual outplay ability over triple, as good as triple's been. Don't get me wrong, he literally solo killed Perks. But that's going to be a tough matchup. And then Kumo is actually the one winning matchup I see us having. I think he can beat Ssumday. I don't think Sunday's been performing all that well currently. So if we really, really want to win, I want to see Kumo absolutely just obliterate Ssumday in the top lane. Sorry, kind boy. Love you.
Yeah, I do love I love Ssumday as a player. If he randomly came to FlyQuest, I'd be super excited about that for sure. I think that 100 Thieves will be the most difficult matchup of the weekend for us. Looking at the head-to-head, I'm pretty sure we have not beaten. Yeah, we've lost all 4 games to them all season. I would not be shocked to see it become a 5th time. I think Nox, you nailed the big thing for me is that their bot lane is just still so good.
Bull has chosen the perfect time to enter the chat.
100 Talk Pod entering the perfect time as we are in the middle of discussing the FlyQuest 100 Thieves matchup this weekend.
Yeah, how we're going to beat you guys respectfully.
Yeah, looking forward to seeing how you guys discuss that matchup later tonight.
Yeah.
So FBI Huhui still the best bot lane in the league, in my opinion. So I think it's going to be very tough for us to play through bot. I think to win that matchup, it's going to hinge on getting triple ahead, in my opinion. We're going to have to, I think we're going to have to play through the solo lanes, play through mid, play through top, get those lanes ahead. And as long as we can not hard lose bot lane, should be fine. So I am confident in there being a chance to win that game, but I'm going to put it kind of like how I'm putting the EG match. It's like a 51-49 for us. You know, it's very, everything's very coin flippy for me right now. I don't have enough data. We beat Cloud9, and then, we also beat 2 lower ranked teams. So it's just kind of like, all right, not really sure how we're feeling here. But right now I've got the 3-0.
Well, my input here on the 100 Thieves matchup. Number 1 is I already did my pick'ems for the week, because I do my pick'ems as soon as I possibly can whenever Noxwar puts them up. And as I was filling it out, I got to FlyQuest versus 100 Thieves. And I was like, do I go for the 3-0? Do I go for the 3-0? And I thought long and hard. And I said we do. We go for the 3-0. We ride the hype train. And before I get into more details of why I think it is, I'm going to summarize this the same reason that we beat TSM, however, in a negative reinforcement. They lost to Golden Guardians. Love you guys at 100 Talk Pod. Love 100 Thieves as an organization. You lost to Golden Guardians, guys, so of course we can beat you. Like, we're just gonna bring in. We're just gonna show up.
I'm not gonna bring up the fact that we've split all 4 games with Golden Guardians. We've split them 2 each.
Yeah, it's 2-2.
And it was before they got Licorice either, and now they're looking way better.
Yeah.
So all that says is that we are on equal grounds as an organization, and so it's like statistically. Anyway, but to go into more detail, goes to the top lane again. I think, unfortunately, Sunday's just not looking too hot, and Kumo's like a blaze of glory. And then Abbedagga, he's great. He's awesome. Some of these last 2 weeks isn't quite right. And I don't know why. And so unless those 2 factors really solidify this weekend, those are like just points that are just going to be real easy to dig in. I said Abbedagga both times. Thank you, Sir Darkor. Anyway, but it really comes down to the bot lane and the jungle for me, because Closer's really good, and FBI is the best ADC in the league. So is Tomo going to come and uproot the king of the LCS bot lane?
Yeah.
Is Diamond going to help him do that? I really hope so. That is going to be the toughest fight, if you ask me.
Agreed. Yeah, I think just to sum up all 3 games real fast, in my opinion, for all of them, as long as we don't get hard stomped in lanes, I think we can win all those games.
I was going to ask, do either of you know if we're red side or blue side against 100 Thieves?
We are blue.
We are blue side.
We're blue? Okay. The reason I ask is because I think it is
all week, so all weekend.
Oh, wow. Okay. The reason I ask is because I think it is, it's hard to do because we're blue side, but I really want to emphasize that we cannot get counterpicked in the bot lane like we did last time we played them, where we went to Juggernaut comp early on, and then 100 Thieves were like, oh, okay, we'll go Zig Senna in the bot lane, and it just wrecked us, right? So I really want to make sure that when we're drafting this weekend against 100 Thieves, that we try and save our bot lane pick towards the end, which I know is very hard to deal with because it opens up for solo laners early on. But I mean, if we can just get the Viego and Gwen again, I mean, I think we'll be okay.
What if we just play Yasuo ADC?
Shit, send it. Let's go.
Now, this is just like super random, but I'm looking at the schedule. I think we're blue side the rest of the season.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, we
Super
are.
weird. All right, sure.
Wild.
We'll go with it.
So we get first. So just keep getting Gwen and Viego, and it's fine. We just
Just first
easy worlds.
Just first round.
Huh.
Gwen or Viego.
We are.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's a
is
super
that?
important question then. What is the red side, blue side win rate this split right now?
Oh man.
Can
Here
we get
you
this
thought it would
stat?
be a.
This is
here.
this is live stat lookup with Flight Check right now.
This is
Oh,
highly
man.
important though. We need to figure this out. If it's blue side advantage, like we're going to Worlds. It's happening.
This is also approximately the part in the podcast where we completely lose any sense of control over our
Absolutely. Yeah, no,
over
I was
our
like, here I
flow.
thought we were going to do a steady wind down, and then it was like, wait.
Wait, can we get
what about
stats
this?
on blue side? What is it? Games of Legends. That'll tell me, right?
Oh my gosh.
Games of Legends, LCS. Come on, please.
It looks
Oh,
fairly balanced.
wow, it is. Red side has a 55%
Oh
win rate.
no, it's Doom, boys.
It's
oh,
over.
No!
It's over. We're not getting the 9-0. It's over.
Yes, we are.
All right.
We are breaking statistics here.
Yeah. Okay. We'll just we'll take that 44% win rate every single time.
We'll bump the red side down to 50% and up the blue side to 50%. We'll do it ourselves.
Absolutely. All right. Well, let's time to wrap this up.
Yeah.
Quick few administrative notes. If you are in the Twitch chat right now and you are not currently following Flight Check on Twitch, please go ahead, click that follow button. Very soon enough, we will get a subscribe button for all you people who are interested in giving us $5 of your hard-earned cash, and we will turn that money around and invest it straight back into the show, namely getting Nox better peripherals.
Yep.
We'll get there eventually. If you
Eventually.
are listening to this VOD we do stream this live every Monday night, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time, twitch.tv/FlightCheckCrew. Also, cool thing, I am finally going through and uploading the backlog of all our episodes to various podcast channels, so you can go back and listen to all of our episodes. It's finally happening. You know what that also means is that I'm finally going to be getting off my ass and uploading the episodes to Spotify and all your favorite podcast places.
All of them.
For the morning after every single episode is broadcasted live on Twitch. So you'll be able to listen to us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Breaker, some of the other ones whose names I don't know that are kind of obscure, but for some reason Anchor lets you upload to them anyway. You'll be able to listen to
Everywhere.
our sweet dulcet tones there. And that's about it for us. Curly, starting with you, any quick shout-outs for the week?
Any quick shout-outs? Well, I want to shout out to Drek for following me on stream today. Much appreciated.
Very cool.
I'm going to take this one from you guys. I want to shout out Academy for breaking all of the expectations the LCS had for us. For breaking the 10-game loss streak. And for inspiring the hell out of me and making me, firmly believe in this organization again, because I will always believe in this organization, but now there is more of a fire in my heart.
There's hopium.
I have worn a FlyQuest shirt every day these last 3 days. Friday night I wore the B jersey. Yesterday I wore the World's jersey. Actually, I think even Friday after Fnatic was over, I had put on my negative, the limited time lawn sleeve, so
nice.
4 days, and then clearly I'm wearing this today. Like it's just and actually, I finally got around to ordering my summer jersey. So like just so much. It's great. It's great. So shout out to that. And of course, like shout out to you guys, you know. Always appreciate doing this. I missed not being here last week. I like being a part of this. I just love doing this show. It's really it's excellent.
We love having you, Curly.
We love having you. Knox, any quick shout outs?
I wanted to shout out to Gray. I know this past weekend meant a lot to him. He's probably been more active on the Discord than I've seen him all split. So I know you truly, truly enjoyed seeing the boys win. I want to give a shout out to Nick as well. I know it's been a very long and stressful couple of weeks for him. Watching his reactions on the Oracle's Elixir True Sight podcast, you could tell he was very down. He was very stressed, and watching his Twitter this past weekend, you could tell he was like a lot more like lit up and very happy, feeling good. So I really just big shout out to those guys. Continue to go give them love. I want to reemphasize Curly's Academy promo boys. Go give the promo boys some love. Continue to cheer them on. They're going to do great this weekend. I know I'm a Debbie Downer. I said they'd go 1-2, but I think they're still going to show some real promise this weekend against 100 Thieves, TSM, and Evil Geniuses.
Yeah, it's going to be a great weekend. My shout out of the week is going to go to Juan Soto of the Washington Nationals. He's currently in the home run derby up against some very tough competition. And I know my boy is going to absolutely stomp and blast some bombs out there in Colorado. So I'm excited to see that. And shout out to all the Washington National All-Stars. We love FlyQuest here. Be sure to go buy their merch, go do all their things. And we love you, faithful listeners and viewers. I hope you all have a fantastic rest of your evening. And I hope you stay safe out there. And if any of you are going to LCS Finals, let me know. Let's hang out if we're all going to be there. All right, very cool. This has been Season 1, Episode 16 of the Flight Check Podcast. Thank you all so much for listening, and we will catch you next time. Adios.
Have a good one, guys.
Peace, y'all.